speaker said that John's race is the #1 pickup opportunity in Pennsylvania, one of the top 3 races in the country. This race matters. John has been running a great campaign exposing Matt Cartwright on this issue, on the issues and on his record. And the truth is, John's opponent is a leader in the Progressive Caucus, and it shows. Congressman Cartwright voted with Nancy Pelosi 96% of the time. That might fly in San Francisco, it doesn't work in Scranton. So John Chrin, he's a 10th generation Pennsylvanian. He's one of us. He was born and raised and educated in Pennsylvania. He grew up in a working class family. He's the grandson of a coal miner and grandson of a steel worker. He shares our Northeast values. To our volunteers that are all here today, thank you. Week, and we've done over 55,000 door-to-door voter contracts out of this office, 70,931 out of this office so far this year, and that would not have been possible without your help. So we're down to the last 2 weeks. We need each and every one of you to redouble your efforts and help put John Chrin, Lou Barletta, Scott Wagner, and our entire team to victory in November. Yeah. State Chairman, Val DeGiorgio.
Thank you. Thanks, Chairman. Thanks, everybody. Wonderful crowd. The energy is building and building every day. Eric and I were just talking about how this is like 2016 again. You can feel every day more and more people come out. We hope you're going to come out with the Vice President tomorrow at the hangar. I think the doors open at 10:30.
9:30.
9:30.
Get there early.
Right.
And you have to sign up online for a ticket the same way if you went to the rally in Wilkes-Barre for the president. You have to have a sign up from the Evite that's out there.
Right, if you don't have that, see me, see Lance, we'll get that to you. But it's exciting what's happening, but the reason it's exciting is because what we're seeing, why this important election is so important. We're seeing it now. We saw the Supreme Court rob 4 or 5 seats from us in Pennsylvania this year, and thank God we have John Chrin, one of 3 potential pickups in the United States right here in Pennsylvania. He's going to win. He's going to win, I know, because I see see what the left is willing to do to grab power. They did it here in Pennsylvania. They tried to do it to Justice Kavanaugh. Thank God we got Justice Kavanaugh on the bench. Thank President Trump for that great pick. Thank Pat Toomey and the rest of our United States senators for hanging tough with the President and Justice Kavanaugh. But we see what's at stake now. And that's why we're so energized more than ever. As a caravan, or some people call an invasion, heads this way, thank God we have a president who understands that we have to have border security. We're not anti-immigration, but we just can't have people come over in thousands over our borders. So that you do understand why it's important. And I say this as a husband of an immigrant. We welcome immigrants, but you have to come here legally. You have to follow the law. Doing what you're doing, the PAGOP in partnership with the Republican National Committee, is we've made over 4.7 million voter contacts. We're going to be up to 5 million soon. We've got an army on the street. You're part of that army. And as many people as here today, you're all over the state. And thank you for what you're doing. And one of the reasons why we're working so hard is we've got a great, great candidate for governor. Scott Wagner. Hardest working, most compassionate, most passionate, most energy-filled candidate I've ever seen run for governor. And I've seen a bunch of them over my lifetime. He's taking our message everywhere. He's not just in Republican areas, he's in Democrat areas. He's in urban Pennsylvania, taking our message of jobs, opportunity, individual responsibility, and how we have to reform education in this state into every neighborhood. And I couldn't be prouder that we endorsed him at state committee. I couldn't be prouder that now he's our candidate and our standard bearer. We have to get Scott Wagner, the next governor.
It's great to be here, and listen, I think sometime today I will crack event 700 for the year. Wow. And the reason I am so energized every morning is because I come to a place like Lackawanna County, and I see everybody here, and I see all the energy. Now, we have a lot, there is a lot at stake. We have a lot, we're watching national events unfold right now. We have a lot here in Pennsylvania. We have a governor who is just absolutely licking his chops. He thinks and he believes that he's going to get reelected. Okay? And you know what? He's got a little surprise for everybody if he gets reelected, and that surprise is it's going to cost every Pennsylvania household this much more next year when he jams through the largest tax increase in history, probably $6 billion. Okay? And then, by the way, the school taxes we've been talking about getting eliminated, that goes away. So there's a tremendous amount at stake in this state. When you look at the national level, we see what's happening, and Val talked about the opportunity with, and Lance also, the opportunity with John. You know, I met John probably back in the spring as he was, ramping up his campaign. You know, I think maybe there's a couple weeks that John doesn't want to go to D.C. when he's in Congress. Maybe he and I can sit down with a calculator and we can figure out this pension crisis and figure out how to solve it. So I'm here today, to support John, and Eric, thank you for being here. Your energy in the state is incredible. And, we've got Lou Barletta, we've got all of our other mayors. And of course, we have the Lieutenant Governor and myself, and the Governor. And we just have a lot of other great people in the state that are running House members, Senate members. Let's get this done, and let's show them that there is a red wave.
Listen, this is overwhelming. I mean, this is tremendous turnout. Eric, we've been greeted by crowds like this where we've been going all morning, right?
Yeah,
all day.
All day.
And you know what? This is the energy that came out in 2016 for Eric's dad. My mom, Kay, is here. Okay, she's out campaigning, helping, and you know what? When we're around, the message that I had with Eric earlier at the stops we have to look at how much better off this country is today than where it was a couple years ago. We have an economy that's really moving, growing substantially faster than it had been before, because people said it couldn't happen, but you know what? President Trump said, I don't believe in limits. Americans are better. Let them do what they're best at doing. It's working, it's growing, and it's putting more money in their pockets, and it's amazing. We've got an economy growing at over 4%. We need to give the president the cover to make sure continue to work for every American. And I can tell you, when I go down to Washington, those are the programs that I'm going to support. To work with President Trump, to make sure we keep taxes low. I want to work to help lock in tax cuts for the middle class. I want to make sure that job-killing regulations get eliminated. Make sure we take care of health care, because you know what? That is one of the big things we haven't accomplished yet as Republicans. We have such an opportunity to bend the cost curve, make health care more affordable, but I can tell you, it's not the way my opponent wants to do it. He'd like to see nationalized health care. He'd like to see us go on a path to bankruptcy with something like that, or substantially higher taxes. And I have to tell you, as the husband of a woman, as my spouse came from Honduras, what's going on right now with the caravan only reinforces the need for us to have a strong border to ultimately do and it's not just a wall. We have to recognize we have people who come to this country and overstay visas through ports, through airports. We need to have a system that works for every American. We need to have legal immigration that makes sense, but it starts with secure borders. And I'll tell you, I very much look forward, Eric, to working with your father in his presidency, not only now, but as he moves forward when he gets reelected. And I can tell you, my opponent Opponent is a guy that when he looks and says, what are we going to do to drive the economy in Northeast Pennsylvania? He thinks it's about the government. He thinks it's about staying on the Appropriations Committee longer, getting tenure. I'll tell you, as a private sector person, that is just one of the most foolish things I could ever imagine. The government can help, but it ultimately doesn't drive and create value, create jobs, create opportunity for every Northeastern Pennsylvanian. It's got to come from the private sector, and that's what I look forward to doing. I'm so happy to have you here. And Vice President Pence, they don't like to lose. And you know what? They are going places where there's an opportunity to win, right? But that winning is going to take place only if every person in this room gets energized the same way you were in 2016. So let's not let Eric and his dad down. Let's make sure we get out
John's mom down and she's wearing it from 2020. I go, honestly, guys, we are never, ever, ever, ever get sick of winning because we're winning. We're winning on everything we do. This country is, and you know, my father was here. I remember we were filling up so many stadiums, and right? I mean, and he promised. He always said, guys, we're going to win at absolutely everything we do, and we are. Here we are, two years into it. We've got the fastest growing economy the country's ever seen. Best stock market, 401ks, consumer confidence, lowest unemployment, lowest Hispanic unemployment, lowest African American unemployment, lowest female unemployment. I mean, we're not getting ripped off by China. We're not getting ripped off by Mexico. We're not getting ripped off by everything. Guys, we are doing so well. America is back. America is doing so well. And you know why? Because they had a business person. They had a business person, not a career politician, that went down to Washington. And I've been saying it all morning with John. It's one of the things I absolutely love about this man. Right? He's not a politician. He's not a career politician. By the way, his life, and this will go for Scott as well, and so many other people, but his life will be exponentially worse when he gets down to Washington, D.C., leaving the private sector. You know how I know that? Because my father's was exponentially worse when he left the private sector and went down there. But you know what? That's what makes great candidates. People who give their blood, sweat, tears, work. 700 events. 700 events. Like Scott Wagner. Those are the people that care. They're the people that America needs. They're the people that we want.
They're going to clean out the swamp.
We need to clean up the swamp. Oh, wait, her shirt says it right there. Washington, you're fired. The swamp? The swamp is deeper than you will ever know. I mean, I've seen it, unfortunately, I've been in the middle of this, and I've seen it firsthand. The swamp is much deeper. And guys, we're winning. And you look at the Democratic Party right now. What does the Democratic Party stand for right now?
Nothing.
The Democratic Party right now stands for doubling your taxes, which will put us into a national recession. Socialism, sanctuary cities, yes, lots of mobs. They're attacking law enforcement left and right. The best men and women that we have in this country, they're attacking for doing their jobs, which is a disgrace. And they want to resist. They want to obstruct. They want to hamper. And guys, it's why we need people like Scott. It's why we need people like John. You know, it's why we have a great state director. Val, where are you? Val, he's become a good friend. Guys, I just want to leave it with this. I know Scranton very well. I have a bunch of friends. Elmo Rinaldi is right there. He's a dear friend of mine, and I grew up with him in this area. I've spent more time in Scranton than probably spent more time in Scranton than Hillary, all right? Am I allowed to say that? I probably just got myself in trouble by our friends in the media back there. I definitely spent more time in Scranton in the last number of years than Hillary has. But guys, we love this area. You know, I mean, Pennsylvania. If you look at Pennsylvania, they are it's hardworking, good Americans, God-abiding. They love this country. They bleed red, white, and blue. It's who we are, guys. You know, we're sick of getting ripped off by the world. We're sick of seeing our jobs leave the border. I mean, One state I throw out almost every day, I said this a minute ago, one stat, but we lost 70,000 factories after Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, right? So between 2001 and 2016, we lost 70,000 factories. Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that we had 70,000 factories in this country, let alone losing 70,000. We lost 70,000 factories after Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. And you know what? You know where most of them were from? The Rust Belt. You know, Pennsylvania, Ohio, you know, I mean, well, it was all across the country, but vast majority. And you see the most beautiful buildings. Hey, by the way, you have them in Scranton, you have them in this area. You see the most beautiful buildings. And they close down, and the parking lots get chain link fenced, and you see weeds coming up, and there's no lights on, and you know, to a developer, that's what I do, I build, right? These are the most beautiful buildings. Some of them have such potential, some of them have such incredible warmth and love, but you know what, they all went to Mexico, they all went to China, the industries left because we had crappy politicians, right? We had politicians that didn't care about Americans, they never focused on certain areas, that totally left people behind. And it's over, guys. It's over. And jobs are coming back, and companies are coming back, and America. I got one thing of everybody in this room and all of your friends. Please get out and vote. And I know that sounds so cliche, and I know it sounds. I hear from people every single day. You know. My guy's not on the ballot, so I'm not going to go out and vote. And I go, don't you ever think like that. You cannot think like that. If we don't have him on the ballot, and we don't have him on the ballot, and we don't have Barletta on the ballot, and we don't have a lot of other great Republicans on the ballot, my father can't be effective. I mean, and by the way, and the country won't be successful. I mean, we need him as the next great governor. Scott's the next great governor. You see how little backbone so many of these politicians had. You saw that 2 weeks ago. So many of these politicians have less backbone than any person I've ever seen in my entire life. That's exactly why we need John. We need Lou. Lou is truly one of the good human beings in the world. It means the world to the family, and same thing, John. We're going to win this thing, and we appreciate you guys more than you possibly know. So let's go make America great again.